Good afternoon, Black Powder Shooters. This is Tim Davis with the Early American Arms channel today, and we're coming to you with a beautiful November afternoon here in Southern Ohio, peak of fall. And I decided, since the weather was so nice, I'd get out and try to make a shooting video today with a recent acquisition to my collection, and very nice one, owned, but I don't think used. It wasn't shot. A very nice example of a Pietta, or as it is marketed, 1858 New Model Army. Well, those of us that collect these replicas know that there really wasn't any New Model Armies made in 1858. That was actually a patent date. They were actually made in 1863 and was one of the most popular sidearms in the Civil War of the .44 caliber. They really gained in sales after the Colt fire in 1864, which made Colt unable to fulfill all of its contracts for the 1860 Army, and sales of the Remington New Model Army flourished. It was a very good heavy pistol. Unlike the Colt, had the top strap, made it more durable, more heavy. Doesn't do the cap sucking quite as bad like the Colt replicas do. They produced these clear up into the 1870s. Very reliable, and they were carried clear up in through Western expansion in both cartridge conversion and still in their original percussion form. One notable frontiersman that carried one of these his entire life was Buffalo Bill, William F. Cody. Carried one through the Indian Wars as a scout, carried it in these buffalo hunting days, and in around 1906, 1909, he presented it to his ranch foreman with a letter that said, "It never failed me." So for someone of that notoriety, with that much experience in the frontier, that was quite a review and quite a bolster to this gun's quality. If he carried it in all those situations and it never failed him, it was a good gun. So I don't think there's any reviews or test trials out there today that could test one like that. So it was a pretty popular firearm, heavy, well made. This particular copy of it, made by Pietta, is very nicely made. The fit and finish is very nice. Has really kind of a beautiful pair of wood stocks on it. The bluing is great. Lock work on it is really nice. Locks up tight, and just a nice quality firearm. We're gonna do some shooting with it today to see how accurate it is, and I'm gonna be loading it with 30 grains of Swiss powder and some Hornady swaged 454 balls and Remington number 11 caps. And I'm going to top my powder charge off with some lubed fiber wads I purchased from Dixie Gun Works. And we're going to go ahead and load this thing up. I've not loaded any weapons on any of my videos, so I decided this would be a good time to go ahead and do that. And we're going to charge each. We're using 30 grains of 3F powder. There's plenty of room in this big cylinder for 30 grains of powder. And quite honestly, from the experience I've had shooting with it so far, it likes 30 grains of powder pretty well. We're just going to see how consistent the groups are with it today. So we're going to put that in the cylinder. We're going to take a felt wad, place it on top of the cylinder that I've just loaded. I always take a rod and push my wads on top of my charge before I seat the bullet. And then take 454 ball, place it on top of the cylinder chamber, take my rammer and ram it home. And we're getting a nice little circle of lead that everybody raves about to show that it's a good tight fit. And we're just going to repeat that. I'm on the bench today. I'm not going to be carrying the gun, so I'm going to go ahead and load 6. And honestly, even if I was carrying it, I would use the safety notches provided in the cylinder to go ahead and be safe in carrying 6. That's what they were meant for. But I know a lot of people, just to be safe, especially those of you that shoot cowboy action, shoot 5. Like I said, we're moving nowhere but on the bench today, and we're going to load 6. Availability around here of GoX powder since the plant shut down and reopening has been kind of tough. My Black's powder supplier, when I went there to get some more powder here a couple months ago, only had Swiss in stock. But I've used Swiss in the past, Swiss and Elephant, and especially in loading black powder cartridge. And really a pretty reliable powder. It burns well. And quite frankly, you had it for the same price as the GoX, which usually it runs a little bit more than GoX. One thing about these Piettas is the rammer and the loading port is not machined for conical bullets. And you can make a modification. It just takes a little opening up of the loading port to help that conical bullet fit in there, especially if you're shooting paper cartridges. And you have to cone the rammer out using a drill and some stones so you do not damage your conical bullet if you're shooting cartridges. So I haven't done that with this revolver yet. I don't know if I'll shoot paper cartridges in it. I have my Uberti 1860 Army modified for the conical bullet, the Johnson and Dow bullet with paper cartridges. There's a good video out there on how to do that with Mike Bellevue, Duelist 1954. Shows a great instructional video if you want to modify your 1860 to take paper cartridges. He's got a great instructional video out there on that. And if you're interested in shooting historically accurate conical bullets, Era's Gone Bullet Molds provides excellent molds made by Lee and designed by Era's Gone, Mark Hubbs, to cast the right bullets to make historically correct paper cartridges. Got one more here. Not loading from the flask because I want a consistent 30 grains since we're doing some target work here. One last wad. Like I said, there's plenty of room in these cylinders for loading 30 grains, and it's been acting very well with 30 grains of powder. So that's what I'm going to stick with. We're using CCI number 11 caps. I don't have a capper that will fit, and they don't fit these Remingtons anyway. You got to modify them, and I really don't want to modify the cylinder. I want to leave it to look original. So I always take a wooden dowel and seat my caps on the nipples or cones, whatever you call them. And I've shot these CCI number 11s and haven't had any trouble with them on this pistol. They've worked pretty good. They've not fallen off. They've all fired on my first attempt, and I'm a big proponent of it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So in my particular model here, the number 11s are doing the trick. All right, we've got it loaded up. Put it down on a safety notch. We're going to adjust the camera a little bit, and I'm going to shoot at a target that's about 20 yards down range. I'll be shooting off of a rest. to hold a steadier aim. I've got the point of aim marked on the target, which I will show you when we shoot this cylinder of projectiles. So let's go ahead and see what she does. Well, that's all 6. Let's walk down and see what the target looks like. Well, not too horrible. We've got 6 shots. It's shooting pretty well point of aim. I've got 1 right on the dot of point of aim. We've got 3 here in the same hole. And I shot a couple low there, and I really think that was my fault. I noticed when I squeezed the trigger off, my front sight post is sticking up a little high above the frame. So pretty impressed with the accuracy of this. A little work and we can really make this thing shoot. So not a bad pistol. That's my Sunday afternoon review of the Pietta 1858 Remington, aka the Remington New Model Army. Nice pistol, well worth the money I paid for it, which was under $100, and really enjoyed shooting it and look forward to really getting used to it and seeing how it's going to shoot. If you like the video, please click like, please subscribe. Really enjoyed showing this, sharing this gun with you today. Enjoy shooting, keep your powder dry, and we'll see you next time.